honor, deserted the noble houses of Westeros, and there are no true knights among you!
If you have missed details like the 7-pointed star on Dunk's sword hilt, Ser Arlan's equipment under the tree, Lyonel Baratheon replacing Leo Tyrell on the show as one of the 5 champions, etc. in the trailers, then this is the video for you. In this video, I'll break down every single trailer, explore the story in chronological order, and uncover the book to show changes hinted at in these trailers. So stay tuned for that. Greetings, Throne Watchers! Before we begin, I must warn you, since we are going to discuss the books as well, there will be major spoilers for the Hedge Knight. If you want me to make a non-spoiler video, let me know in the comments below. So, let's begin. The story begins when Ser Arlan of Pennytree dies from catching a chill. Dunk buries his body on a hill near a tree. After that, Dunk decides to go to Ashford Meadow, where Lord Ashford is holding a tourney to celebrate the 13th name day of his daughter. At some point during his travels, Dunk will put Ser Arlan's belongings under a tree, as you can see in this image. He will do the same beneath the elm tree from the promo pictures. Dunk has taken Ser Arlan's belongings, which includes a long sword, a dagger, an iron half-helm, chainmail hauberk, greaves and gorget, a shield with Ser Arlan's sigil, aka a winged chalice painted on it, and 3 horses, Thunder, Chestnut, and Sweetfoot. Dunk rides Sweetfoot on his way to Ashford Meadow. In this clip, you can see Dunk leaving the sheath on top of Ser Arlan's cloak as he takes the longsword out. The pommel of the longsword has a 7-pointed star on it, which is quite interesting considering how Ser Arlan was not a religious man. In the books, the sword has a black stone instead of the 7-pointed star. Why do you think they changed it on the show? Dunk has also tied Ser Arlan's dagger at the back of his waist. It seems like at some point, Dunk will have a flashback of Ser Arlan practicing with his long sword in the woods. On the left side, Ser Arlan had also put his belongings, most likely his cloak and armor, under a tree. So you can guess where Dunk learned to do that. On his way to Ashford, Dunk stops at an inn where he meets a bald boy named Egg. He tells Egg to see to his horses as he heads inside for a meal and a drink. In the books, he meets Prince Daeron Targaryen at this inn. Daeron tells Dunk he has seen him in his dreams and tells Dunk to stay away from him. When Dunk gets back to the stables, he finds Egg sitting on the warhorse, Thunder, and yells at him. Egg asks Dunk to take him with him and make him his squire, but Dunk refuses him and leaves him behind. Dunk arrives at Ashford Meadow. In this image, he has all 3 of his horses with him. As you can see here, Dunk stops in front of the tourney ground and looks at the preparations. There are 2 statues of the knights at the gate. Keep that in mind. We also see the same knight statue near the end. He looks at the people working on the barriers to create 5 lanes for the tourney, as there will be 5 champions. You can see them taking the wooden bar, which they will put on top of these shield statues with torches between them. The end result will look like this. You can see these shield statues in multiple scenes, like during training, in the tourney, at the trial of the 7, etc. At this point in the books, Dunk reluctantly turns his back on the tourney grounds and leads his horses into the trees. At first, I thought the show moved up the scene where Dunk sees Sir Stephen and Raymond Fossoway train to here, since he has all 3 horses with him in this scene. Whereas he only has 2 horses in the scene where he goes to meet Sir Manfred Dondarrion, aka on his 2nd trip. I'm a little bit confused about the horses, but since they are sticking close to the books, I'll assume they are following the book closely, and we'll discuss this scene where it takes place in the books. After leaving his horses and belongings near the elm tree, Dunk goes into the town to find an armorer. He also sees the puppeteer girl Tansel's show about a knight slaying a dragon. He meets Chilipate there and orders a suit of good mail with gorget, greaves, and great helm. Dunk returns to find Egg sitting beside a campfire cooking fish, which he freshly caught from the lake from behind him. Egg has brushed the horses, washed Dunk's clothes, and hanged them to dry, which you can see in this promo pic. If you want me to post a separate video on the promo pictures, let me know in the comments below. After Dunk agrees to take him in, they sit and sleep beneath the tree. movie. Now here is another difference from the books. In the books, Egg falls asleep and Dunk watches the falling star alone and thinks the luck is his alone. But on the show, they change it to both Dunk and Egg watching the falling star together, and it's Egg who tells Dunk about it bringing luck to those who see it, and Dunk asks him, so the luck is ours alone? I like this change way more than the book version because here Dunk is already talking about them as a team. There are clips of Egg running around and swinging Dunk's longsword while Dunk watches him. This scene wasn't in the books, but it adds to their chemistry. Like an ordinary boy cannot have such skills with a sword. So my guess is Dunk will notice it but won't think much of it because he is of course Dunk the Lunk, thick as a castle wall. In the books, Dunk heads to Ashford Meadow alone to register his name in the lists, leaving Egg behind near the elm tree. Once again, the show changes things here. On the show, Dunk will take Egg with him to the gates of Ashford Castle, where he leaves Egg with Chestnut before heading inside, probably because Egg is the one who doesn't want to go inside. The show makes their dynamic even more heartwarming than it was in the books. Despite the minor changes, the show keeps Dunk and Egg's banter and dialogues the same as the books, which makes this much more enjoyable. Dunk is carrying Ser Arlan's shield with him as he heads towards the Ashford Castle to enter his name in the lists. The people on the bridge are staring at something to their right. After studying the promo pics, I got the answer. If you wanna know what they are looking for, wait for my next video. Dunk goes to meet Plummet, who doubts Dunk is a knight and asks him to bring someone who can vouch for him, to which Dunk says he will bring Sir Manfred Dondarrion, as Ser Arlan and Dunk had served under Lord Manfred's father 3 years ago. While Dunk is coming back, he sees a large party of knights and mounted archers arrive, bearing the black banner with the three-headed dragon, who seemed to spread its wings and breathe scarlet fire. That's when Prince Aerion approaches Dunk and asks him to see to his horse. In the books, Dunk takes Sweetfoot with him to the castle to sell her to the Master of Horse, but the Master of Horse refuses him. I'm not sure if the show removed this scene or not, but Dunk does not have Sweetfoot with him in this scene. On the other hand, why would he go to the stables if he didn't have her with him? What do you think? Also, you can see Ser Arlan's winged chalice here as well. In the books, the first thing Dunk does after leaving the Ashford Castle is sell Sweetfoot to Henley for 750 silver stacks. He can only sell Sweetfoot because Chestnut is old and Dunk needs Thunder for the tourney. But on the show, you can see Sweetfoot and Chestnut with Dunk as he heads to meet Sir Manfred Dondarrion. I don't see Thunder in these clips. Where do you think Thunder is? On the way, Dunk watches the puppet show and gets impressed by Tansel. Tansel is the puppeteer girl who manipulates the shows of Florian and Jonquil, Nymeria and her 1,000 ships, Simeon Star Eyes, and a show about a knight slaying a dragon, etc. Then he comes across the tourney grounds where lots of knights are training. As you can see here, some are training with their swords, some are fighting on horseback, some on the ground, and some are even practicing with a lance. You can also see arrows and the statue of a knight bending the knee. In the background, you can see the banners of House Dondarrion, Hightower, Targaryen, and Lannister. Sir Stephen kicks his squire Raymond to the ground. You can also see the red apple of Fossoway on the tunic of Sir Stephen as well. Sir Raymond is carrying the red apple shield of House Fossoway. In the books, this is where Dunk sees Sir Stephen and Raymond training, and this is where Sir Stephen asks Dunk to spar with him after he had defeated Raymond. Dunk politely refuses him. After meeting Raymond, Dunk heads to meet Lord Dondarrion. In the scene where Dunk is talking to the horse, he is standing outside Sir Manfred's pavilion. House Dondarrion's men-at-arms are standing behind the horse. You can get a better look at their clothes here. You can also see House Dondarrion's banner behind Dunk. I think the horse saw Lord Manfred turn him down, and that's why they called him sad. And later, Dunk tells Sweetfoot he is not sad. Yeah, we believe you. In the background, you can also see House Lannister's banner. So, Sir Manfred refuses to help Dunk and he returns to the Ashford Castle with a heavy heart. When Dunk doesn't find Plummet at his desk, he goes looking for him in the castle. That's how he stumbles upon Prince Baelor Targaryen, Prince Maker Targaryen, and Lord Ashford and overhears their conversation about the missing princess. Since Prince Baelor is hand of the king, you can see him wearing the handspin attached to a dragon scale patterned cloth which loops back on his shoulder in the shape of a dragon's tail. I love how they gave the handspin a Targaryen makeover. On his right chest, the metal clasps are shaped like arrows. I'm not sure about this. What do you think they represent? Let me know in the comments below. As you can see here, Prince Baelor has a simple dagger with a wooden hilt. In House of the Dragon, we saw that King Viserys had the cat's paw, or rather Aegon the Conqueror's dagger with him. In my Who Sent the Cat's Paw video, I discussed my theory that House Targaryen lost the cat's paw dagger after the fall of House Targaryen because it somehow ended up with Littlefinger in Game of Thrones. Just to recap, Littlefinger had sent the cat's paw to kill Bran and then had lied to Catelyn saying it was his dagger until the tourney of Prince Joffrey's name day, where Littlefinger had bet on Jaime and had lost to Tyrion, who he claimed had bet on Loras Tyrell. Like Tyrion would ever not bet on Jaime. But what if the thugs didn't lose the dagger after their downfall? In my House of the Dragon Season 2 Episode 4 breakdown video, I discussed how the dagger went from Viserys to Aegon II, and in that episode, Aemond picks up that dagger. That's the last we saw of that dagger. So to me, it seems like House Targaryen has already lost the dagger even before a Night of the Seven Kingdoms has begun. Why, you ask? Because neither Prince Baelor nor Prince Aerion has that dagger on them. These two seem like the most likely candidates who can inherit that dagger. If House Targaryen still had the dagger, we can assume that Prince Baelor just has simple taste, but Aerion Bright Flame? Not likely. If Aerion had the cat's paw dagger, he would be showing it off every chance he got and would have used the dagger to kill and torture people he didn't like. Aerion loves his Targaryen heritage and thinks he is a dragon himself. There is no way he will not keep that dagger by his side if they still had it. So do you think House Targaryen has lost their dagger at this point? Or does Prince Baelor simply prefer a simple dagger? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Anyway, Prince Baelor listens to Dunk's explanation and remembers Ser Arlan, with whom he has broken 4 lances some years ago. So he decides to vouch for Dunk and allows him to enter the lists. However, as Dunk turns to leave, Prince Baelor sees Ser Arlan's sigil on his shield and tells him to change his sigil, since only a true-born son has the right to inherit a sigil. You can also see a 7-pointed star window behind Dunk. Dunk finds Egg watching Tansel's show. Both of them praise her skills and ask Tansel to paint a new sigil. And then they create Sir Duncan the Tall's new sigil, that is, an elm tree with a shooting star above a field of sunset. On the first day of the tourney, Dunk and Egg eat fried bread, which we saw in the trailer. Then they go to watch the tourney together. By the way, as you can see here, there is a guy behind Egg holding up a dagger. Do you think it means something, or is it just a random detail? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, it seems like the show has changed one of the Fair Maid's 5 champions. In the books, the 5 champions were Andrew and Robert Ashford, Leo Tyrell, Sir Humphrey Harding, and Prince Valar. But the show has replaced Leo Tyrell with Lord Lyonel Baratheon. In this screenshot, you can clearly see House Baratheon's stag on top of the yellow pavilion, and there is Lord Lyonel Baratheon's horse standing in front of it. The scene feels like it has jumped straight out of the book. This image gives us a closer look at the horse, who's wearing the same yellow caparison and black saddle. Lord Lyonel's squire is waiting behind him, holding Lyonel's antlered helms. You can see the antlers behind the horse. It appears there is a 4-petaled flower-like design on the pommel of Lord Lyonel Baratheon's sword. But I can't imagine why he would choose a flower for the pommel of his sword. If any of you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. On the first day of the tourney, we can see Prince Baelor, Lord Ashford, and the Fair Maid sitting on the dais. But just like in the books, Prince Maekar is not here, but he will appear sometime later at night, as we can see him and Aerion both on the dais later. Coming back to the jousting, in this clip, you can see Sir Humphrey Harding jousting with Sir Humphrey Beesbury. As they clash, the Fair Maid's reaction is shown. There is a broken lance on the ground. which means this is not their first tilt. In the books, they faced each other for 12 tilts before Sir Humphrey Harding came out as a victor. You can also get a clear view of the shield statues I had mentioned earlier. Even though this tourney is hosted by Lord Ashford, some of these shield statues don't have the Ashford sigil on them, but I can't figure out why or which sigil it is. Can you guess why? If you can, let me know in the comments below. Based on the lighting of the day, it seems like the Aerion and Sir Harding matchup will take place in the evening, just like in the books. In the books, the first day of the tourney comes to a close after Aerion had injured Sir Humphrey Harding. But unlike the books, based on the dark outside, it's safe to assume that the tourney will keep going late into the night. In this image, you can see Sir Humphrey Harding along with Sir Baelor Hightower and Lord Lyonel Baratheon standing ready to joust. Prince Maekar would join the dais at night. Aerion is also sitting there with Lord Ashford, Baelor Breakspear, Prince Maekar, etc. But is it just me, or does he look mad to you as well? My guess is he is mad because Lord Ashford declared Sir Humphrey the winner and gave him Aerion's horse. Anyways, in the books, after the first day of jousting ends, Raymond Fossaway invites Dunk to his pavilion to share a drink with him, after which the incident with Aerion happens. But it seems like the show has made another change here. Dunk not only goes to Lyonel Baratheon's pavilion, but also gets drunk with him, as you can see him wearing Lord Lyonel's antlered crown, which Lyonel was wearing in another clip. It feels like the show is not only paying more attention to Lord Lyonel, but is also making Dunk have a closer connection with him. Maybe that's where Egg will find him when the incident with the Aerion happens. By the way, Lord Lyonel also has a dagger or a sword with an antlered hilt on his waist. There's a man sitting next to him who at first I thought might be Sir Robin Riesling, before I remembered he was only supposed to have one eye. So I'm not sure about this as well. Who do you think this old guy is? It seems like Aerion would already be in a bad mood since Prince Baelor had announced Sir Humphrey the winner and has given Aerion's horse to Sir Humphrey. So when he will see the puppet show showing a knight killing a dragon, Aerion would lash out at the puppeteer girl. I think on the show, it will be more gruesome than the books. In the books, Aerion had only broken Tansel's fingers before Dunk had arrived. But in the show, it looks like Aerion might actually kill someone, probably one of the puppeteers, or maybe even the actor playing the knight who killed the dragon. Because in one of the later clips, we see Dunk holding someone's head in his hands and looking mad. So when Aerion is holding Tansel, like a true knight, Dunk jumps in to save Tansel, punches and kicks Aerion before his men-at-arms pin him down on the ground. Just when Aerion was about to hurt Dunk, Egg comes forward and reveals his true identity as Prince Aegon Targaryen, the younger brother of Prince Aerion. Prince Baelor summons both Aerion and Dunk, and as you can see, Aerion is threatening Dunk with a dagger. Aerion and Dunk were never in the same room in the books. Anyway, in this shot, you can see a cut on Aerion's lips where Dunk had punched him to protect Tansel. Since both of them are dry here, it seems it didn't rain during their fight. Behind Dunk, you can see the 7-pointed star window, which means Dunk will be summoned to the same chambers where he had first met Prince Baelor. Prince Baelor informs Dunk about the trial of the Seven and asks him how good a knight he is. It seems like it will rain on his way back from the castle, as Dunk is soaking wet in 3 different scenes, which means all those scenes are from the same episode. In one of those scenes, Dunk has picked up the head of the puppeteer who was beheaded, and Dunk looks really mad. Behind him, you can see a shield and some other stuff flying around. In the second image, Raymond and Dunk are in a checkered pavilion. I'm not sure if it's the Fossaway pavilion or somewhere else, but Raymond tells Dunk to run away, to which Dunk says,
Want to kill me if I run?
Want to kill you anyway.
In the third scene where he is wet, Dunk seems to be inside somewhere with a lot of weapons. You can see all the weapons behind his back, and from the window you can see that it's still raining. Raymond and Egg would look for knights to join Dunk. Darren will tell Dunk that during the trial, he will pretend to faint, so he is no threat to him. And he also tells him about his dream, that is a dead dragon. On the morning, Dunk gets ready for the trial. In this pic, you can see Steely Pate is helping him with his armor. We also see Egg running with Ser Arlan's lance, which he will give to Dunk. Do you think this is another change from the books? Because in the books, Dunk's side were using tourney lances. and Ser Arlan only had a war lance. What do you think? In the books, Raymond and Egg enlist Sir Humphrey Harding, Lyonel Baratheon, Robin Riesling, Sir Humphrey Beesbury, Sir Stephen Fossoway, etc. On the show, adding a scene to make Lyonel Baratheon and Dunk becoming friends might mean that Lyonel Baratheon will volunteer on his own, maybe after Dunk's speech. Either way, that leaves Dunk with only one man. But Sir Stephen betrays them and joins Aerion's side. So now Duncan falls 2 people short. Raymond asks Dunk to knight him then and there, so he could join Dunk in place of his uncle. That still leaves Dunk 1 man short. If Dunk could not find the 7th knight, he will be declared guilty. That's when Dunk goes to the stands and asks the knights to join him, asking if there are any true knights among them, and when no one volunteers, he asks if honor has deserted the noble houses of Westeros. But Prince Baelor steps out and joins them. As you can see in this image, there is no Targaryen present at the dais, as all of them will be joining the trial, except for Egg. Aerion and Lord Ashford are also standing in front of the dais, waiting to see if someone would join Dunk. And in this image, you can see the 7 knights on Dunk's side standing ready for the trial to begin. From right to left, they are Sir Humphrey Beesbury, Sir Humphrey Harding, Dunk, Prince Baelor, Lord Lyonel Baratheon, and by the process of elimination, the last 2 knights are Sir Robin Riesling, based on the horse's metal petrol, since Sir Robin was a seasoned knight as compared to Sir Raymond Fossoway, who has just been knighted. On Prince Aerion's side, the 7 knights will be Prince Jaron, Prince Maekar, Sir Stephen, and the 3 King's Guards, Sir William Wilde, Sir Donald of Duskendale, and Sir Ronald Crakehall. As you can see here, Prince Aerion has black armor with spikes on his pauldron and red flames on his helm. That's how we'll recognize him in the chaotic battle. The horns blow and both sides charge forward. In this image, you can see the white shield of a King's Guard. Next to him, we can see a Targaryen sigil, but the rider has a round helm instead of the one with spikes, which means it's either Prince Maekar or Prince Jaron. There seems to be someone with black helm next to this Targaryen, which could be Prince Aerion, who would be at the center of their charge as he will be facing Dunk. As you can see in this image, Prince Baelor is charging ahead of others, while Dunk is left behind the rest of them. In the books, Dunk panics at this moment and doesn't know what to do, but fortunately, Thunder remembers and starts moving forward. Prince Baelor and Lord Lyonel seems to be the first to engage with their opponents. As I pointed out earlier, Valar's armor had stripes engraved on it, and since Prince Baelor didn't plan on jousting, he didn't bring his own armor, so he had to borrow his son Valar's armor. In this image, you can see someone with stripe engravings, probably Prince Baelor, unhorsing someone with a Targaryen shield, probably Prince Maekar with his lance. You can see Prince Baelor's dagger at his waist in this image, and one of the white cloaks is charging from the opponent's side. We also see someone in black armor fighting a knight red surcoat and silver helm. Maybe it's Aerion and Sir Humphrey from jousting? What do you think? As for Dunk, he started moving later than the others. Because of his great helm, Dunk can only see what's in front of him, and he sees Prince Aerion charging straight towards him, brandishing his morning star, and he hits Dunk with it. So Dunk will get hit by Aerion's morning star and will fall to the ground. Then Dunk unhorses Aerion and falls on the ground with him. As we can see here, while Dunk is getting up, Prince Aerion would attack him from behind, but it seems like he will be able to blow it off, because in another shot, Dunk is the one attacking Aerion with his sword, while Aerion uses his to deflect the blow. In the background, we can see a white cloak and Lord Lyonel Baratheon behind Dunk and Aerion. The reason I think it's Dunk and Aerion is because in this shot, we can clearly see the flames atop Aerion's helm. Behind Aerion, we can see someone on the ground with Beesbury sigil on them. Either it's Sir Humphrey Beesbury with his shield or his horse, but they definitely have House Beesbury's sigil. Who do you think it is? Then we get a wide shot of Dunk and Aerion's fight. Behind Dunk, we can see a white shield with someone lying down on the ground. So it's either one of the King's Guard, or maybe it's a King's Guard's shield and Dunk's helm. What do you think it is? Then we see Dunk punching Aerion, and it looks like he's falling down to the ground. In the books, Dunk would jump on him and start punching him until Aerion would yield and Dunk would win the trial of the 7. But this victory would come at a high cost, since Prince Baelor, who gets struck by Prince Maker's morning star, dies. This is the image of Prince Baelor's funeral, where you can see Prince Baelor with his wife, Kira of Tyrosh, Ser Dondarrion, and Aegon's sisters, Rhae and Daela Targaryen. In the books, at the end, Prince Maker visits Sir Duncan the Tall, telling him he has sent Aerion to Lys. He also talks to Dunk about Prince Baelor's death and about Dunk taking Aegon as his squire. As Egg insists, he will only squire for Sir Dunk. Prince Maker offers Dunk a position at Summer Hall, where he will not only train Egg, but will also learn from a proper master of arms himself. But Dunk refuses the offer, saying he will take on Egg on his travels as a Hedge Knight, to which Prince Maker eventually agrees. And that's where the Hedge Knight ends. If you want me to post promotional pictures and behind the scene clips breakdown as well, let me know in the comments below, and I'll post those videos soon. And if you don't wanna miss any of these videos, click on the subscribe button and hit the bell icon next to it. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms Season 1 will come out on January 18th. This series will have 3 seasons in total, with 6 episodes per season, and I'll be breaking down every one of them. If you like this video, please hit the like button below, share the video and subscribe to my channel. Have a great day. Bye bye. 7 blessings to you.